Hosted by Matt Rich. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickers. Turning data to gold. $1 trillion tickers. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickers. Turning data to gold. $1 trillion tickers. Watch the market unfold. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. It is Thursday, July 16th, 2026. Happy Thursday. This morning we got a fresh batch of economic data. We'll get into that a little bit later. And we had some big earnings come in too. We'll get into that later. So today's question is simple. Can the market's neutral sentiment keep the market from falling? Or did these big earnings create the pullback? We'll see. I track the headlines, the data, and the market levels so you don't have to. This show is for education and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. Before we get into the charts, let's get into the mantra with our mindset. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable. I am skilled. I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, now let's get into some of this data. Okay, so we had core retail sales month over month were forecasted at 0.0%. Actual came in at negative 0.2%. That is weaker than expected. Retail sales month over month were forecasted at 0.2%. The actual came right in line at 0.2%. Unemployment claims were forecast at 216K. Actual came in at 208K. That is better than expected. The Philly Fed Manufacturing Index was forecasted at 12.7. Actual came in at 41.4. That is a major beat. So this morning's data is mixed but important. The consumer side is uneven. Claims are better than expected, and manufacturing came in much stronger than expected. Now let's talk about sentiment. The Fair Ingredient Index is at 47. That puts us in neutral. So the market is no longer in fear. But neutral does not mean risk-free. It just means sentiment is more balanced. All right, now let's check out some of these earnings. We had UnitedHealth beat on earnings by 30%. Revenue came in around $112 billion ahead of estimates. The stock is up around 7% from yesterday's close because the Dow is price weighted. UnitedHealth's pre-market trend to the upside is helping out the Dow. State Street beat on earnings by 9.3%, beat on revenue by 4.2%, but the stock is down about 1.5% from yesterday's close. TSM beat on earnings and revenue, but the stock is selling off. That's one of the biggest lessons of the morning. Sometimes the numbers are good, but not good enough because expectations are too high. PayPal is another major headline. PayPal shares surged after reports that Stripe and Advent International made a takeover bid worth more than $53 billion. That is a major payment sector story. Netflix has earnings after the close today. So after the open, traders will be watching earnings, chips, healthcare, and a broader reaction in QQQ. Let's get into Robert Greene's daily law for today. This one is definitely interesting. It says, title, Enter Their Spirit. Daily law. Lure people out of their natural obsession by entering their spirit. Once you have entered their spirit, you can make them yours. Today's law is about understanding people deeply enough to lower their defenses. Robert Greene is saying that people respond when they feel seen. when they feel mirrored, when they feel understood. Once someone feels understood, they become more open. For long-term investors, this connects to understanding the market's mood. The market has its own spirit. Sometimes it rewards growth. Sometimes it rewards defense. Sometimes it rewards earnings. Sometimes it punishes good news because expectations were too high. And that's what we're seeing with TSM today. Investors have to understand not just the report, but the expectations behind the report. For day traders, entering the market spirit means reading the real-time reaction. Do not force your opinion. If earnings are good but the price sells off, respect price. If data is mixed but buyers step in, respect that too. The market does not care what we think should happen. It reveals what traders are actually doing. The edge comes from entering that rhythm and trading what is in front of you. Stay patient, stay disciplined. Execution over emotion, process over prediction. Now let's get on these charts, y'all. First up, we got NVIDIA currently in the pre-market at 209.62. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 208.41, followed by 206.05, 205.70, 203, and 198.95. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 210.98, followed by 212.55, 213.80, 214. Be aware we are in the smart money concepts resistance zone. The bottom of the zone is 207.75. The top of the zone is 214. So keep that in mind. Next up, we got Apple. Apple hit all-time highs yesterday, y'all. Currently in the pre-market is at 382.32. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 326.38. Followed by 325.70, 323.55, 320.75, 317.35. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 329.64, which is actually in price discovery land. I don't actually have any other price discovery land levels prepared, so let's just move on. Next, we got Google. Google currently in the pre-market at 373.06. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 371.50, followed by 368.90. Now, Google is actually in this smart money concept resistance zone as well. The bottom of that zone is at 367.07, so keep that in mind. Underneath that, I do have a daily level here at 365.50, followed by, we do have our diagonal resistance trend line that we are on top of, so do expect a bounce on top of there. Underneath that, we got 362.90, 359.65. Okay, to the upside, we have the top of our smart money concepts resistance zone, which is also a weekly level at 376. Above that, we have 378.56 and our pre-market high of 379.50. Did we hit all-time highs yesterday on Google? No way. No way, dude. Alright, so I don't have any other levels above that. My bad, y'all. I'm not prepared on Apple and Google's charts. But let's see the rest of these charts. Next up, we got Microsoft currently in the pre-market at $399.31. To the downside support, we got $397.28, $395.55, $394.15, $391.45, $388.20, $386.40. To the upside resistance, we got a weekly level here at 401.75. We got a pre-market high at 402, followed by 405.05 and 412. Next, we got Amazon currently in the pre-market. It's pushing pre-market lows on this current candle. It's at 255.24. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 254.80, followed by 253.70, 251, and then we got the top of this gap here at 249.77. The bottom of this gap is 248.55. Underneath that, we got 246.60. To the upside resistance, we got the yesterday's high, 256.48. We got the pre-market high, 258.30, followed by 258.60, 261.20, 264.64, and 266.60. Next, we got TSM currently in the pre-market. This 404.50. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 397.12, followed by 395.95. and 385.10. To the upside resistance, we do have our Smart Money Concepts support zone here that begins at 407.63. The levels inside there, we got 410.75, 413.25, the pre-market high, 414.87, followed by 421.20, 425. Next, we got SpaceX, currently at 134.82. That is lower than the IPO price. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 133.51, followed by yesterday's low of 132.15. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 136.06, followed by 136.45, and yesterday's high of 139.35, followed by 142.40. Next, we got AVGO currently in the pre-market at 387.40. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 384.64, 383.45, 379.60, and then on top of this gap at 376.92, goes all the way down to 372.97. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 391.73, followed by 395.89, 399, and 402.25. Next, we got MU. Can you believe MU is this low, y'all? MU currently in the pre-market at 861.50. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 851.31, 846, and then we got the top of this gap here at 820.50. It goes all the way down to goes all the way down to 780.16. The midway point of this gap is 800. Y'all be aware. Next up, to the upside, we got 873.63. 891.65, pre-market high 899.77, 916.40, 937.20. Next, we got Meta Platforms currently in the pre-market at 682. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low is 678.03, followed by 673.35, 666.50, and then the top of the gap at 658. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 689, followed by 703.50 and 721. Next, we got Tesla currently in the pre-market at 392.70. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 391.39. To the downside, we got 390.65 and 390.50. So it's a lot of buyers in this area. Underneath that, we do got the Smart Money Concept support zone, which begins at 387.85. Levels inside there, we got 385.85, 381.95, 379.30. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 395.18, followed by 399.35, 402.20, 406.60, 413.50. Next, we got Eli Lilly currently in the pre-market at 1165. To the downside support, we got 1156, 1146, 1138, 1134. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 1167, 1174, 1178. Next, we got Berkshire B currently in the pre-market at 490. To the downside support, we got $488.10, 487.55, 486.50. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 490.39, 490.70, 492.75. Next, we got SPY currently in the pre-market at 752.68. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 751.25, followed by 750.20, 748, 746.15. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 754.65, 754.90, 755.40, 755.60, 756.65. And the bottom of our Smart Money Concept resistance zone starts at 756.75. Inside that zone, I do have a level here at 758.10. Next, we got QQQ currently in the pre-market at 712.14. To the downside support, we got 709.65, 707.55, 706.25, 702.35, $700.90. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 716.25, 718.60, 721.10, 723.30, 724.35. Next, we got IWM currently in the pre-market at 294.68. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 293.94, followed by 293.75, 293.10, 292.50, 290.70. To the upside resistance, we got 295.11, 296.40, 297.15, 298.20. All right. The VIX is at 1618. 10-year Treasury yield note is at 4.59%. Bitcoin is at 64,176. Ethereum is at 1,881. All right. Let's get this money out the market, y'all. Shout out to everybody on YouTube Live.
Chase excellence, never chase money. Why? Because money has an incredible way of finding excellence. Did you chase excellence and not money? Do you have the intellectual curiosity to learn everything you can about this incredible industry and master it? Become the smartest person in the room. Have you mastered it?
Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings.